Hey guys, this is Growth Beast, co-founder of Growth Stories, the first on-chain marketing newsletter and podcast, and welcome to another episode. Today we've got Campbell, CMO from Redstone Oracles and next-gen blockchain Oracle that basically designed to provide fast, cost-effective, and customizable data feeds across all of the app space. So check them out. Their mainnet's coming soon. It's going to be a blast. This episode will release once the mainnet is already on. Campbell, great to have you here. So let's get started. I want to know what Redstone is about and how'd you guys get to where you are?
Amazing, man. Amazing. Well, really great to be here. Thanks for having me on, and shout out to all the listeners out there. Redstone is, I'd say, it's a modular blockchain oracle, and it's the oracle with the best, most advanced tech stack around. So pretty much everyone knows about oracles because they know about Chainlink. They were the incumbents, launched way back in the day and got like all the initial TBS. Redstone was launched by basically like a single dev working out of Poland who was working with Chainlink and was like, hey, this isn't actually giving me what I need. Let me build something that does give me what I need. And it was crazy at the time because who's going to launch something and compete with Chainlink, which is like the biggest monopoly in crypto. And fast forward like a few years later, and now Redstone is competing with the biggest monopoly in crypto. And it's kind of like beating Chainlink on all the metrics that matter because our product is so much better and gives builders what they want.
Nice, super happy to hear that, and I'm sure a lot more infra providers will be even happier to hear about this. Now, look, you're very infra heavy, and I know I'm a marketer, you're a marketer. How do you position this highly infra heavy protocol and product, right, from a brand perspective? It's not as sexy as 1,000% yields.
It's really interesting. Like we've just been setting up a KOL program and like talking to these KOLs, and we're like, hey, we'd like to talk about oracles, and they're like, cool. What's the value for people? Because they're used to shit posting about like 1,000x or like 1,000% APY. It's really really challenging. And particularly because Redstone is at time of recording pre-token, there's like nothing for people to buy, right? So one of the most amazing things that we built out is what we call the Redstone Expedition. So it's this like huge community initiative where you join the Discord, you contribute meaningfully to the community, you like build up roles. It's incredibly gamified. There's like lore. We've got like really cool artwork of miners and stuff. And that's just a way of like giving people a call to action, a way to get involved with it. But really, it's kind of like what we want to do is reach the protocols that use Redstone. And it's challenging to position yourself in that space because, like I said earlier, there's this huge giant in the room that takes up all that space. And people don't really know anything about oracles, right? Like we see talk about L2s and kind of like different types of L2s, general purpose versus application specific, ZK, based rollups, whatever. None of that kind of nuance exists with oracles. So what we're trying to do is create that and explain the differences in the product, how this monolithic product that you've been sold is actually not the be all and end all, and how other solutions are actually much, much better. And so we're moving from an era of like one monolithic monopoly that is not good for the space, monopolies are not good for crypto, to specialized, nuanced, highly competitive oracles that do exactly what builders need.
Makes total sense. And this really ties into like the next question, basically. Well, next two questions that I'm going to combine now. What's some key strategies you've used to grow the protocol? What have some campaigns differed from, maybe other growth strategies for other dApps? And also, how do you prioritize partnerships, right? I think for an infrastructure heavy protocol, partnerships are key to growing. So happy to hear.
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting. So, like, our North Star metric as an oracle is total value secured, and what that means is the amount, basically the value that if Redstone failed, the value that could be compromised, not value locked in our contracts like TVL, and the main thing that we want to do is reach these protocols. So we're out there trying to get hold of like the biggest lending protocols, the biggest restaking protocols, and what's really worked, particularly in the last 12 months is focusing on really specific use cases where Redstone differentiates itself basically. So we found product market fit overnight. We had this product that basically did the same thing as Chainlink, oracles. Um, and it actually does them better. Like there are analyses done by like Gauntlet, Chaos Labs, who are obvious risk providers that show, hey, here's a pricing event where Redstone massively outperformed Chainlink. It's fine. It's hard to get people to switch over their infra. And then so like start of last year, we realized that, hey, because of our modular infra, which is in ways I can explain, just way better set up to be composable and customizable and give builders what they want. We were able to price all these new assets that were emerging in DeFi and do secure feeds for them much faster than competitors could. So like Chainlink has to wait and really big amount of time for lots of volume to get on chain before they can do a secure feed for an asset. Secure meaning that you can't manipulate it to like attack Aave or something. And Redstone, because we have a totally different methodology that we can customize, and it's fully on chain so everyone can see it, we can do it so much faster. So like last year, every LST, every LRT used by lending protocols was secured by a Redstone feed. And it was kind of just like piggybacking off of that and then showcasing the growth, man. Like DeFi loves a story about a protocol that's on the up. And when you like are able to say like, hey, number go up, everyone loves that. Builders see that and they're like, okay, cool. These guys know what they're doing. Let's use Redstone.
Well, that's a good shameless plug right there. It's like we found immediate product market fit. I don't think more than 10 product protocols in the space can claim that. So congratulations.
Well, to be fair, Redstone was around for quite a while before that inflection point. So it was like there was that
Mm,
one. There were years of
right.
pure grind, which I wasn't there for. I joined
Yeah.
post inflection point.
Right. I see. I see. I guess maybe you could talk a little bit about the biggest challenges of scaling Redstone. I'm sure, growing versus scaling a different kind of story, and then trying to manage things at scale is not as easy as when it just starts. How did you overcome maybe those challenges if you had any?
Yeah. Look, I think the biggest thing is like I believe intellectual honesty is really, really important. And that is like a problem that I have with the incumbents in the space. Because if you look at like Chainlink's marketing content, they are not intellectually honest about the state of the market. So I like data and I like independent, verifiable data. And that's crazy, crazy hard to get for oracles. Because like if you actually want to know like of all the pools on Aave, which pool is using what oracle, like there's no automated way of doing that. It's a massive, massive amount of work. Similarly, like if you want to know about like the usage of an oracle's feeds on a certain protocol or a certain chain, it's crazy hard to get that data. So building out like Redstone's data infrastructure and making sure that we're able to show the growth, show number go up so that it's not just like anecdotal. I can tell you all day we have the best tech, but like you need to see that people are using it. That was a really, really big challenge. The other challenge that we're coming into is the fact that, like I said earlier, nobody really understands how oracles work. And why is that when there's so much robust discussion about every other piece of tech in the space? Well, it's because if you go on Twitter and you talk about oracles, you kind of have to at some point talk about Chainlink. And what happens if you tweet about Chainlink? Chainlink God and Fishy Catfish and all the Link Marines show up 30 seconds later. Honestly, sometimes less, actually. They have like a sub 10-second response time. And what they do is they bully the account into shutting up if it says anything negative about Chainlink. And that's not what this space is about. So we want to create like a real robust discourse about oracles. We want people to like think carefully about this tech because it secures huge amounts of value. And so like one of the things we've been doing is starting to be loud about oracles for the first time because no one does that up till now. And kind of like bracing for those very aggressive responses from Link Marines, which is not being pleasant, but we're getting there. And actually, like right before this went out, our founder just rose to the top of all of Kaido's like data on Oracle KOLs. So we're like top of the space for the narrative right now. We want to stay there because we're speaking the truth. That sounded really pretentious, but you know what I mean.
I mean, that's incredible getting that far up, that, especially on such a niche topic. Major kudos. You've talked about the how KOLs were a major part, how you did a lot of education, right? And then literally just shamelessly putting yourself out there about how great oracles can be, or the importance of oracles, so to speak. What's the most effective distribution channel that you've used so far?
I'm really every time you're having like a marketing strategy session, there's like what platforms should we use? Like, should we invest in a newsletter? Are we on Farcaster? Are we going back to Lens Protocol? Are we investing in like Instagram, Blue Sky? Now there's like the Chinese Red Book thing. No, like it's either 80% Twitter, 20% events, or it's like 90% Twitter and 10% events. Like that's it. What Redstone did really, really well in the past, and what we've been able to like really step up is like just high level brand recognition. Like my marketing philosophy lately has dialed down to like the most important thing you can do is just like be seen as often as possible. And that's something that Redstone does really, really well. Like our founder, Marcin, in his like Redstone puffer vest is iconic. Like the Redstone stuff is iconic. You see it everywhere. So being super boots on ground and visible at conferences and more and more and more being super, super, super visible on Twitter. Like those are our two best channels and they're the best places we've seen ROI. And I will say as well, like for infra, like I don't want to neglect like our BD team. We have a best in class BD team because these are huge, like, massive deals that we're making with people, lots of money and lots of value at stake. And I see the role of like marketing here is just making sure that by the time our BD guys chat to someone, like they've seen Redstone memes and the best and the stickers, and they're warmed up for when the serious combo takes place.
Yeah, no, you have a great point, and I do recognize the puffer jacket. I just saw like a recent post about Marcin, on LinkedIn actually. Him talking about oracles and price feeds, and that was the iconic image, so to speak. And at this stage of the episode, there is just this massive storm around marketing on Twitter, and the CMO versus founder marketing versus hire an agency debate. I mean, what's your take on this? Where do you stand? What you're a CMO, so you're biased, but let's go.
Yeah. Look, so like I will say like so the three points are there's a camp that says that founders should lead marketing and don't need a CMO. Then there's a camp that's I think primarily professional marketers who are like, no, you do need a CMO. And then there's another camp that says just get an agency. You can have like kind of midweight a like marketing talent in house, and then outsource everything to an agency. And I was posting about this regularly. I made a triangle graphic and called it the startup marketing trilemma, which people seem to like, but it's just a triangle. And it's really like founder-led marketing is cheap and affordable. So if you're resource constrained, it's great. Agencies are I actually put them on like low resource cost because like even though they can be really expensive, it means that the founder, if you don't have a CMO in house, doesn't have to do a lot of the marketing work. And your founder's time at the end of the day is like the most important resource you have. Junior marketers will know this when they like bother the founder for like, can you review a Twitter thread? And it's a waste of his time. Like, you don't want to waste the founder's time. He doesn't want to waste it doing like stickers for events. So agencies can be great from that POV. CMO is like a really, really just great all around bet. You have someone who knows how to do marketing, but they're they can be really, really expensive. Like a top tier CMO legitimately is like more than 300K a year. Uh, I don't think all CMOs are getting that, but like, there are very real marketing is like a valuable talent. It's as valuable as developers. People acknowledge that. One of the things that came out of this conversation is the stage of the company has a lot to do with it. If you're early days, investing in big heavyweight marketing talent is going to be expensive. And what you might find is that the marketer might not be sticky. I left my first DeFi protocol when we pivoted to building an indexer. And I kind of knew I wouldn't have anything to market for a year or two. And so I thought like my skills aren't going to develop. I'm super bored. I want to go somewhere I'm being challenged. And I love those guys, but that's that. So early stage founder led, maybe junior midweight marketing talent that you can learn on the job. As you get bigger, when you're at proper like series A level, you need a heavy tier CMO. If you've got a marketing budget that's in the hundreds of thousands of millions, you need a CMO for that. Agencies plug in wherever they can. I personally think if you've got the budget and you find a really specialized agency, use the agency now. Yeah, and another really interesting aspect of the conversation is like everyone's talking about founder-led marketing, right? The founder has to set the strategy. So is it a CMO or is it a founder who's leading the marketing? The way I see it is like a CMO can't define the narrative for the whole company. The founder needs to do that. There are very few cases where you've got a CMO that's as plugged into the tech sufficiently that they can like weave a whole story around the company. The founder has to do that. But the CMO's job is to kind of like coach the founder and be like behind the scenes, like saying, okay, hit him with these narratives, maybe focus on this, maybe do your tie up better. No one wears ties, but you know what I mean? It's like a campaign manager and like the president, basically. The CMO is not the main character. The CMO's job is to like help the founder be the tier one founder.
what's next for Redstone, right? At this point, you're already launched mainnet. What's next for its modular ecosystem?
We just called this on Twitter. 2025 is the year of the Oracle Wars. 2024 was the first time in history that Chainlink's market share dropped below 50%. They dropped down to 45% of the market. They bounced back a bit, but that's because of Aave, and Aave is like 70% of their TVS. So if anyone says Chainlink's a monopoly, know that without Aave, they're barely ahead of the next best player in the market. And there are people who Chainlink hasn't. I keep talking about Chainlink. Chainlink has not dropped a meaningful innovation in Oracle tech since 2021. And if you go listen to Sergey's podcasts, he's trying to convince you that interop CCIP are part of Oracles. They're not. That's like bridging. And Across is a better bridge than CCIP. Stargate, which I personally have beef with Brian Pellegrino, is better than CCIP. You've got all these amazing Oracles that are taking up more and more market share. And Redstone is dominating on LSTs, LRTs. We built the first Bitcoin staking Oracle. So all the Bitcoin used in DeFi right now is secured by Redstone feeds. We are on every new L2. We doubled the amount of chains that we support last year. Huge growth trajectory there. And what we're cooking next is we're going to be the first massive Oracle AVS, the first major Oracle that launches its own AVS. We're also cooking our own solution for Oracle extractable value. The tech's ready. We're just waiting to announce for marketing reasons. And it's the most performant solution on the market. Like legitimately, man, this changes the way we think about Oracles. It removes one of the major limitations that Oracles have had since day one. We might be cooking ultra low latency Oracles, like the fastest Oracles that have ever existed. And honestly, that's not even half of it. Like by the end of the year, there'll be no doubt that Redstone is the most technologically advanced Oracle on the market. And the market share chart is going to look really, really different. Yeah. It already looks really good, but it's going to look totally different.
I really can't wait to see it. And then we should definitely have another episode, 6 to 9 to even 12 months from now, and then kind of look back and see, hey, look where we were. We've actually just mega exceeded the expectations, and we over delivered on our promises. So thanks again, Campbell, for coming in, guys. Everyone there, if you're still with us, tune in. And make sure to collect the episode. There's actually going to be some rewards, and let's get going.